All right, this is Unit 1, Lesson 2, adding integers. So today we're going to be learning about adding two integers and adding more than two integers. Our lesson essential question is what happens when you add, subtract, multiply, and divide integers. So add integers. The equation -2 plus -3 equals -5 is an example of adding two integers with the same sign. Notice the sign of the sum is the same as the sign of the addends. Okay, so they're both negative. Key concept, add integers with the same sign. To add integers with the same sign, add their absolute values. The sum is positive if both integers are positive and negative if both integers are negative. So for example, -2 plus -4, 2 plus 4 is 6, they're both negative, so my sign is negative. 8 plus 1 is 9, they're both positive, so my 9 is positive. Example 1, find -1 plus -5, use a number line. So I start at 0, I move 1 unit to the left because that's -1, and from there I move 5 more units to the left. So I get to -6. So I find each sum, -3 plus -4. Well, -3 plus -4, so I go -3 and then plus 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, gives me -7. -6 plus -14, so -6, and then I add 14 to that. So that gives me -20. -7 plus -2, so they're both negative, so it gives me -9. All right, example 2, find -3 plus -6. -3 plus -6 equals -9. I add the absolute value of -3 and the absolute value of -6. Both numbers are negative, so the sum is negative. So let's find out. Find each sum, -8 plus -2. They're both negative, so 8 plus 2 is 10, and then I just add my negative sign out in front. -1 plus -12, they're both negative, so I add them together, which gives me 13. I put the negative sign out in front. Key concepts, add integers with different signs. To add integers with different signs, I subtract their absolute values. The sum is positive if the positive integer's absolute value is greater, or negative if the negative integer's absolute value is greater. So for example, 9 plus -4. 9 minus 4 gives me 5. 9 is bigger, and that's positive, so my answer is positive. -9 plus 4. 9 minus 4 still gives me 5. -9 is the larger number, so not between 9 and 4, 9 is the larger number, 9 is negative, so my answer is negative. To add integers with different signs, you can use a number line. Start at 0, move right to model a positive integer, move left to model a negative integer. So example 3, find each sum, -3 plus 6. So I start at 0, I move left -3, and then I move right 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. That gives me positive 3. So -3 plus 6 equals 3. For B, 1 plus -4. So I start at 0, I go right 1, and then left 4, which gives me to -3. So 1 plus -4 is -3. All right, so I have 5 plus -2. So I start at 0, I move to 5, 1, 2, 3, 5, and then I move left 2, 1, 2, that gives me to 3, so my answer is 3. 4 plus -8, so I start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, and then 8 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to -4. All right, example 4, find each sum, 12 plus -6. So again, they're different signs, so I subtract them, which gives me 12 minus 6 is 6. 12 is the larger number, 12 is positive, so my answer is positive. -7 plus 5, they're different signs, so I subtract. 7 minus 5 is 2. 7 is my larger number, 7 is negative, so my answer is negative. Let's try some problems. -20 plus 4. Different signs, so I subtract. 20 minus 4 is 16. 20 is the larger number. 20 is negative, so my answer is -16. 16 plus -5, different signs, so I subtract. 16 minus 5 is 11. 16 is the larger number. 16 is positive, so my answer is positive 11. Example 5. A blue whale was at a depth of 275 feet below the surface of the water. After 10 minutes, it rose 194 feet. What is the current depth of the blue whale? Write an addition equation and then solve. Interpret the sum. So beginning depth plus increase after 10 minutes equals the current depth. So let D equal the current depth. So negative 275, because they said below the surface, so that's negative 275. And then it rose up 194 feet. Plus 194 equals D. So negative 275 plus 194, I subtract them because they're different signs, gives me 81. 275 is the larger number. 275 is negative, so my answer is negative. So the current depth is negative 81 feet, or 81 feet below the surface. So let's try it. A scuba diver is 120 feet below the surface. She then ascends 83 feet. What is her current depth? Write an addition equation and then solve. Interpret the sum. So she started at 120, and that's below, so negative, plus she ascends or goes up 83, and that's my current depth. Okay, so they are different signs. So I need to subtract. 120 minus 83 is 37. 120 is the larger of the two numbers, and it's negative, so my answer is also negative. So negative 37 equals D, so my depth, she's still 37 feet below the water surface. Okay. Add more than two integers. The integers -4 and 4 are opposites. We remember that from our first lesson. Opposites have the same absolute value, but different signs. An integer and its opposite are also called additive inverses. The additive inverse property is useful when you're adding integers. So key concept, additive inverse property. The sum of any number and its additive inverse is 0. So example, 2 plus -2 equals 0. Same, they're different signs, so I subtract. 2 minus 2 is 0. They're the same, so remember 0 is neither positive or negative. In symbols, A plus -A equals 0. So basically, it's saying that if you add two opposites together, they'll get you 0. All right, example 6, find each sum. -6 plus -15 plus 6. I notice that -6 and 6 are additive inverses of one another, so they equal 0. So I'm left with -15, so my answer is -15. 7 plus -1 plus 26 plus -13, okay? There's no additive inverses in this one, but I noticed that 7 and 26 both have a positive sign, so I'm going to group them together using the commutative property, and -1 and -13 are both negative, so I'm going to group them together using the commutative property. I add my positives first. 7 plus 26 equals 33. Then I add my negatives. -1 plus -13 is -14. Then I have 33 plus -14. Okay, so different signs, I subtract. 33 minus 14 is 19, and 33 is the larger number, and it's positive, so my answer is also positive. All right, let's work on some try-it problems. 6A, 4 plus -2 plus -7. I'm going to add my negative numbers together. This gives me 4 plus -2 plus -7 is -9. Okay. Now, these have different signs, so I subtract. 9 minus 4 is 5. 9's larger, 9's negative, so my answer is also negative. For B, -10 plus 3 plus -7 plus 12. I'm going to regroup these so that my positive numbers are together, and then my negative numbers are together. Okay. I'm going to add my positive numbers, so I get 15. I'm going to add my negative numbers. So 15 plus -17 Different signs, so I subtract, which gives me 2. 17 is my bigger number, and it's negative, so my answer is -2. For -9 plus 12 plus -11, I'm going to group my like signs together, my like signs. Okay. -9 plus -11 are the same signs, and they equal 20, so that's -20 plus 12. Now they're different signs, so I subtract them. -20 minus 12, or 20 minus 12, gives me 8. 20 is the larger number, 20 is negative, so my answer is also negative. For D, -8 plus 4 plus -1 plus 6. So again, I'm going to group my like signs together. Okay. So I have -8 plus -1, which gives me -9. And then 4 plus 6 is 10. So -9 plus 10, different signs, I subtract. 10 minus 9 is 1. 10 is larger, 10 is positive, so my answer is positive as well. And that is the end of Unit 1, Lesson 2.